per year, almost. Again, we are not selling any securities. I want to say that it's just the norm out in the field. If we buy the right assets, we are able to give syndicators like me and others are able to give who operate wisely and buy the product wisely and everything. IRRs of 13 to 18% is, out there. And in the high numbers also, it depends. Development projects can really give big profits. Then the limited partners can also get a good portion of that.
Vinny, I just realized our restream wasn't going through. So I hit the restream button right as you were discussing. For everybody who's just jumping in, he was just telling us what internal rate of return was on real estate investments and why it makes so much sense to simplify your portfolio right now. So we're going to keep going with the episode anyway. And I will upload for everybody listening. I will upload later on the beginning part of this episode so you get some context.
Sure. They thought they bought it, at a good price and everything, but they bought on bridge loans or mezzanine loans or variable loans. They are the ones with increase in interest rates and insurance costs, and the rent's not going that high as they predicted. They are in a little bit, trouble. So I think we have to see how much powder, I call it powder, means money, you have left so that you could stay the course and not have to sell in a bad time. Because now, if you're not able to sustain the mortgage, for 2 months or so, then foreclosure will start, forbearance and foreclosure. So you want to really be really protective of the cash flow that's coming from the property. Keep it in the bank account, because things can come and it can throw curve at you, right? We don't know what the percentage of the interest rate somebody bought it at, if it's a fixed, but if it's a variable, they are the ones who are in trouble, kind of thing. So each situation will be different, brother, right? And you have to cut your losses. I mean, I sold out some shares of my stock, which on my portfolio, where when the market started to turn down last week or so, right? And I did that a little bit earlier also. So I was waiting for something like this to happen, which is not a good thing, but I bought some stocks today, good ones, the Googles and the Amazons and the ones Metas and all, and the Teslas and Ubers, which I like. Again, I'm not recommending any of these guys. I mean, it's just that, Vinny has done some research and all that, right?
You saw some stuff you own that was overbought. It went up in price, and you said, I don't need that much of it. Reduce some of the exposure, and then when new opportunities came up, because you simplified the portfolio, I love this. Using the principle, then you were able to have the cash and put it into.
I'm so glad. Sorry to interrupt you. You just hit me with a very good thought. See, I've done about close to 39-40 syndication, right, over the 14 years. I've sold majority of them, by the way, and I only bought one asset last year, good one, and one asset year before, good one, which I'm selling from 2 years back. I'm selling now, after 5 million gain. And then the other one in Houston at the Med Center, my partners and I, we keeping it. It was a 3-year play, so we're going to keep that. The two I bought before in 2019, that's like 4 years back. We sold one already. We are selling on. So I've been selling my portfolio over the last 6-7 years, where I felt like there is still, cash flow left and the equity gain left for the buyer. That's the key. We call it skin, meat on the bone.
Meat on the bone.
Meat on the
I
bone.
knew you were going.
So you got to really be thinking about, don't look for the peak always, because nobody can time the peak. When you are thinking peak is coming, try to sell so that the other buyer will still be interested, right? That's a huge part. The other thing is, we only know the peak when we have gone to the peak and down. Then you look back in it, it's a 2020 vision. You say, oh my gosh, that was the peak. Similarly with the bottom also. We never hit the rock bottom anytime. We look at it, if it's going down, we need to kind of make some decisions. But once we have passed through that trough, you come back, you say, oh, that was the bottom. So it's always after or before the fact, you know?
This is so good for investors right now who are either just getting in the business, who's never been through a full cycle before. Like even
Yeah,
myself, I started in a down market and I had never been through an up all the way up. So this is
yeah.
like, it's great to hear someone who's doing it and has been through it
Uh,
multiple times. So for those of you who are listening, what Vinny just said is he's been selling a lot of his assets over the last 6-7 years. And even in the last 2-3 years, really hasn't picked up a lot. It's only now he's picking up assets in the hospitality space and the residential assisted living space. So as you investors are looking and saying, man, like I'm not finding any deals, like where are they? It could be because we're at the peak and this might be the best time to recapitalize, to get some of the assets out. And then one of the other things you just mentioned, Vinny, for those who are listening, interest rates are higher. Sometimes refinancing doesn't make sense anymore. Sometimes it does make sense to sell the asset like Vinny's been doing, sell the asset 1031 into different properties, or sometimes you pay the taxes and you pay your investors out for a time and wait for the next opportunity. But Vinny, like you always say, you never borrow money. You're always investing other people's money. You always have the next deal. You always have something coming up.
that's the thing. Because once we saw these interest rate hikes coming last year, like I think in, let's say July, August, right? My mortgage started to increase. And I said, I got to get a refinancing done now. So I got back with my lender and it took us a long time, brother, but I locked in at 5.61%. It was at close to 8%. I think it's 7.96% for one of my properties, the one I'm selling now, right? But
Yep.
it took me some time to get it done. And thankfully, I was able to get it done, in time. And I had the clause in there that the new buyer will be able to assume it. So you got to make sure that you get a loan that is assumable. And I just got it in April of this year, and so forth. We put the property on the market and we got a buyer, coming in and all. And I just signed the contract yesterday. So, I think it's really good that we are always in the midst of, you got to, as a CEO of the companies and your business, you got to make decisions which are right for the investors, for everybody involved. You got to pivot. You cannot be stationary. That's what I say. You
Yeah.
cannot just, buy something and fold your eyes and say, okay, I'm going to look at it in 4 years or 5 years. You have to see how the market is changing and you got to make decisions accordingly.
This is very good advice. There's a lot of investors who just stay in their lane. They do the same thing over and over. And in a change of the cycle, same with realtors, mortgage brokers,
Yeah,
and a cycle change, a different type of asset works better. We'll always
yeah,
be able to do real estate, but the way you do it changes and you have to adjust with those changes. It is
yeah.
sometimes you have to simplify, you have to cut some things off to increase and move forward faster, like Vinny was talking about earlier. And I want to just say, like, now is probably a good time to go and look at your subscriptions. You can go back and watch this same episode 46 with Vinny last year. And he talked a lot about things you can cut out of your expenses, things that you could remove,
Yeah.
going through
Yeah.
and like looking at your credit cards and just saying like, does this serve me anymore? Does this help me anymore? So there's a lot of really good advice that Vinny's given us over the last year. And this today was more real estate focused because that's what the community is asking for. And at the summit this year, at the 100 Millionaire Summit, Vinny will be talking about some of his biggest deals, the big deals he's done, some of the big wins. I want each one of you to recognize like that it's possible. This is not to compete with Vinny. This is not for any of you to be like, okay, I'm gonna be better than him. It'll never happen because Vinny's 71 years old. He's happy with his life. So like you say all the time, but you want them to pass you. You want people to pass you. You want them to
I want my students, my academy people, my friends to bypass me any day, because I want the very best for everybody who touches me, and that's what my passion is. I want to give all my secrets, all my things, everything that I've done in my life. I want to put it into books, into courses, into, giving free, all that, because life is to give. Life is to give it so that like somebody asked me, I was interviewed yesterday and they said, somebody told me about it. So I asked a, very good marketer yesterday. I said, do you know one place in every city, every village, everywhere in the world, there is one place where there is a big congregation or accumulation of the knowledge. In every town, there is one place. And a lot of people think about churches, they think about universities, they think about, schooling, they think about groups where they meet, lots of brains get together, or high power companies are in that town and all that. What's the answer? Maybe I might have covered that with you. You might tell me.
I'm afraid to guess, but I'm thinking library. Am I anywhere near?
Library is a very good second.
I had a feeling I wasn't going to hit it.
But the number one is the cemetery. Oh my God.
Of course.
How many great ideas, how much experience and all the great knowledge just dies when the people, pass away. And when we bury them in cemeteries, in my case, in Indian culture, we, do the cremation, we fire, and then the body is, cremated. I mean, all those places have the biggest knowledge ever. And that's what really reminds me every day, Vinny, give yourself to the world, whatever you have. I'm just a regular guy. I'm telling you, just a regular guy. But
you can try to convince yourself of that, but we don't believe you. It's okay.
Because I'm just a regular person. The thing is, if I can impart anybody, just one person can really pick up what I say and implement and get better in their life, their growth, and in their relationships, in their business. I mean, I have done a okay job,
You've done a wonderful job with your wife, your kids, your business partners, even this relationship and how much you're giving back to Alchemist Nation, which speaking of like writing down and like putting your knowledge into places, your next book is coming out. What is the name of it, and how will we be able to get access to it?
Totally. My two books, by the way, Senior Living Investing Made Easy, ready. It's at the publishers now. Actually, they sent it, uploaded to Amazon. We are getting a printed copy to preview right now as we speak. The other second edition of my book, which is thicker and better, is by Positivity Brings Profitability, revised edition. So I'm very excited to bring both those books to the summit, and also my first book, which was Apartment Syndication Made Easy, $7 to $1 billion portfolio. So that is also on Amazon right now. And we'll be able to have a few copies of that also available. And actually, we're going to be launching. I wanted to stress that at the summit, we'll be doing the launch of my second edition of the Positivity book. And we're going to reduce the price so low that everybody in the room will be able to buy it. And then I'll have physical copies. Everybody that buys for 99 cents or whatever on Kindle, will give them a physical copy with my signature, signed copy right there in the back of the, of the meeting room, banquet room. Yeah.
We're going to set up a nice table and author's spot where you can fill out and sign all the books. So this is really exciting for us. So everybody who will be there live in person, it's also a book signing opportunity for Vinny, and also the release party will be Saturday night. We'll be celebrating our millionaires, and we'll have Vinny Chopra actually signing and celebrating his book release. So this 100 Millionaire Summit is super cool. It's one that you definitely want to be at.
It's going to be amazing, guys. Anybody listening to us, it's another, Keith and Gualter, you didn't ask me for that. A lot of times you're going to one convention for 3 days and you got hit with the same subject over and over, like multifamily syndication or something like that, or, flipping homes or wholesaling. There's a convention for just that, or just raising money. What I like in the 100 Millionaire Summit, it's got overall picture of so many great topics and speakers who's going to rock your thinking. After 3 days, you're going to be a different person. I mean, I saw that last year, brother. And what you put in, Gualter as the organizer and Darina, both of you, I mean, you give so much of yourself and so many great lineup of speakers. It's mind-boggling. And the good part is simple turns. They will be able to move you to the next level, to grow your business, to increase your net worth, to increase your cash flows and all that. So I'm very excited. I am just so fired up. And I'll be there 2 days. I'll be there also at the VIP dinner on Thursday night, I think.
Right.
Yes. And then Friday and Saturday. I'm very excited about that.
So Vinny, this is probably the most fun you've had in years. You've done the summit this year. You've been speaking at other events. You've been on podcasts. I want to point out before we jump off, you've been really simplifying your life in a lot of things, but you've made a lot of time to give back. You really made a lot of time to be seen, to be giving back. You also made a lot of time for vacations with your family, with your wife, with your kids, with your other extended family members. How has simplifying your business allowed you to do some of the things that really make you feel the most, like the most important and the most spiritual and the most
Thank
growth?
you. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's the priority. I think it's also just seeing what's important to be done. A lot of times we spend so much time in unnecessary activities. And by just prioritizing and making sure that I put the big events for the day as appointments. If I don't have an appointment, I say I'm unemployed, literally, because I need to just spend time in taking care of the right kind of activities, which will bring 80-20 principle, Pareto principle. I believe in that a big time. And then scheduling my vacations, like we are leaving again in about 15 days or so for Malta and Sicily, which is going to be fabulous 20 days or whatever we are going. We just planned our Patagonia trip and we just planned our, where are we going? We are going with the family next year. We have to plan ahead, right? So we go to Italy, Como, Milan, Venice, Rome, Florence, all those good places, right? But what you're asking is really true. What it is, Gualter, once you write down schedule-wise, and then when you immerse yourself in doing the right activities daily, then the results follow. And then you make sure that you prepare your teams and everybody to know when you are taking these vacations and all that, then they are able to operate without you. I mean, I'm so dispensable, not indispensable, but dispensable. I love that, when things are working without me, I love that.
It's funny, as an employee, people want to be indispensable, but as a business owner, you want to be completely dispensable. And you've really gotten to that space. And something you said to me many, many times is your North Star. Your North Star allows you to simplify your life because you know what's most important. You can't remove this, but everything else is removable. So your family is your North Star, your business partners are your North Star, and your body, your health, your mindset, those are the things that are right up there for you. Your God, your religion, like that, all of those components come first before anything else. And everything else is just noise. You're able to say no to things that are not of those top pieces.
Yes. No, so true. And everybody, I mean, it takes incrementally. I'm not who I am today just overnight. I mean, Rome was not built in a day. I say that all the time. But not procrastinate and find yourself time to plan, because 1 hour of planning gives you 10 hours of productivity. Just 1 hour, it gives you 10 hours. If you are just running around without focus, without intentions, without intensity, without efficiency, that's when we get bogged down with unimportant things, which really bring us trouble. They don't get us to the places we want to. Like today's principle is, bring it down, make your life easy and your business easy. It's by cutting smaller pieces of the whole yearly goal into 6-month goal, quarterly goal, then monthly goal, then weekly goal, and then daily goal. See, don't worry about yesterday. I say that all the time. Yesterday is gone. It's ashes. Learn from it but make today the very best day ever, ever, ever. Have the best food, have the best breakfast, have the best miracle morning, have the best meetings. And growth is the key to success for any business person, for anybody. When you're not growing, you're dying. I say that, right? I am so fired up at 71, which I just can't tell you. And I want to live to 101. Literally, my 30-year goal is to really eat healthy, eat right, and exercise and keep my body, soul in alignment. And gratitude is a big thing. It should be in everybody's life. If we give, no, never take, never take. Don't expect anything back. I think I say that always. Don't expect. Do it, do it, do it, and just do it. And then don't expect anything back. When you don't expect, the law works so favorably in your favor that you get 1,000 times more coming back to you without asking.
Powerful.
So it's a wonderful feeling that let the universal laws work for you.
I think that if there's one thing a person could simplify their lives with to really embody what you're saying right now, it would be to remove the negativity, the negative thoughts, remove the desire to receive from another person, and just give, like, unabashedly, like, push hard. Volunteering, as you said, is one of the keys to living a long time, being a part of community, giving back, contribution. This is how you live to be 100, 120 years old, which, by the way, Vinney, there's a woman who was 122. So it is possible that maybe Vinney could live another 51 years, another 50 years.
No, I agree with you with the stem cells, with everything happening with the AI. I know the next 15 years might bring so many great things for us in our life expectancy to increase. It's already increasing in the last 10, 15 years. And there is so much research going on. I'm into biotech also. I've invested into boutique funds, and I am into cybersecurity. I'm into metaverse. I'm into, all these AI softwares and startups. I love those because the key is there is so much to be gained. I mean, next 20, 30 years, it's going to rock the world. I mean, it's going to be so many inventions and things. I mean, if you need a new knee, we can get a knee replacement right now, right?
I think your next book is going to be Positivity Brings Longevity. I think we're going to have to write this in 30 years.
I love it.
It's coming.
Hit the nail on the head. I was been thinking, what could I give more to my audiences and my followers? And last week and this week, I've thought about putting lots of great articles, publish them on health, on fitness. I don't want to sell anybody's program or anything, but bring some great, great mind shift and also body soul articles and videos which other people have done, but post them so that people are able to privy to it. I listen a lot. I research a lot, and my mind is very inquisitive mind. That's who I am. So why not take those links and publish them? And
I know for me, I think a lot of people who are in their 60s and 70s who are following your path, and even those who you serve and in your facilities, right, in the residential assisted livings, the space that you spend a lot of time in helping, I think that those people and people who may end up in those facilities would like to know the stuff, right? How is it you're staying so healthy? How is you're living so much longer? I think that as we as a species just get to that point, as civilization, we get to that point, it's going to be more and more important. You say all the time, 10,000 people a day are turning 65. I think you understand your audience internally. Wow. And that's why you're starting to think about sharing this stuff. So that's really cool.
Thank you. I really mean, what I'm saying, because I want to research even more and good articles that can change our habits, that can really get into our subconscious. If somebody's trying to reduce weight, or that's a very internal thing. But if we can learn how to change our habits, like my wife was telling, I'm losing a little bit weight. I'm not losing that much, but I like to have very simple breakfast now, just with fruits. And my lunch also is not in a bigger bowl. It's in a smaller bowl. where I can cut the portion. And I'm finding a lot more energy, brother. I can't tell you. It's just mind-boggling, by doing few things. I eat very healthy, nighttime also, not too much fat anymore, and all that. But sweets I like, but I cut down on sweets also. So it's very important that, we spread the word and share some of the, articles, and maybe even we'll love. I know I own that website. You and I talked about it, Google of Happiness.com.
That's
I
right.
own Google of Happiness.info and net or something, three of them. Then Google of Health. No, Google of Happiness and Google of Health, I think, is the one I bought 10 years back, because my idea was that Google is a great source and they are able to provide information on everything. So my thinking was, people won't take the time to search for really good places of YouTube and articles and PDFs and PowerPoints. But if my team can do some really good research and they find, not to promote any business or anything, no ads will be there, nothing. We don't want any money. But if people come to that Google of Happiness, then they could just click on different categories. We could put them in there. If you're anxiety, if you have this, click on this link and it will take them to the Google, not to me, but they're going to take it to the Google.
We just heard a 10-year plan in the making. So I like this. So Vinny, we know you got meetings the rest of the day. You started off pretty strong. What is the best piece of advice you give somebody right now who's looking to, they're stressed out. They know they're coming to the summit, but between the next 43 days between now and then, how can somebody what's the one thing you'd say, really take a look at?
I would say whatever has happened in 3 quarters, right? This is the end of the quarter right now. Next week will be the end, September. Just take some time. Take your time to look at what happened these 9 months, and then reestablish yourself with some achievable goals, measurable, achievable, specific goals for this next quarter. Because even if you have won or lost, nothing matters, because you can't change it. But what you decide next week for the next quarter, and set bite-sized pieces, and go for it. Go for those goals. But you got to write them down, what you want to, where you want to go. See, you cannot hit in a bowling alley, the pin. You cannot do it if there is a curtain in front of it. People are able to take the bowling ball and they look at right in the smack in the middle. And then, of course, when the ball is, one of the pin is left to the left or right, you look at it. If we did not see where the pins are, how can we hit them? So I believe in that analogy. I believe in everything about goal setting, specific goal setting. A lot of people say, I have it in my head. I say, no. That's not right. You got to have it on the paper. You got to have with the deadline. You need to have activities, what's going to accomplish to hit those goals. All that has to be there.
This is powerful. So for those of you who are listening, Vinny just told you what to do. Go look at your last 9 months, simplify things, get back to your goal, get back to your focus point, your most powerful point. There's a lot of opportunity in the market right now. You are able to do what you're looking to do. You've just got to stay focused. We're going to see you in 43 days at the 100 Millionaires Summit. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. I always work with the best. We'll see you next week, Thursday, Abundance Thursdays at 9 a.m. PST, Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you in the next one. Thank you, Vinny.
See you on the next one. Thank you, brother.